Dean Ambrose returns. Paul Heyman sides with Brock Lesnar again. And this week's Raw was SummerSlam Go Home Show. Or was it worth it? Let's check it out in my review. I'm Himanshu Sharma. This is Mortal Monster Wrestling, and this is my this week's Raw review. And we are starting right now. So Raw started with Ronda Rousey coming out, and she paid a tribute to Jim the Anvil Neidhart and said that when she came to WWE, Natalia was the first person to welcome her, and now she is going to side with Natalia and beat Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam for the title, because Alexa Bliss has tried so many times and cheated so many times to beat Natalia. So now Ronda Rousey is going to beat Alexa Bliss and is going to take the revenge and take the belt for Natalia. And tonight, Ember Moon will replace Natalia to face Alexa Bliss in a non-title match. And then Alexa Bliss comes out and she cuts a promo as usual, some heel shenanigan promo, but still it was a good promo because Alexa Bliss is a very good promo. And Alexa Bliss said that she's not gonna face Ember Moon when Ronda Rousey is in her corner. She needs someone in her corner too. So Alicia Fox is in her corner. And then we got ourselves a match between Alexa Bliss versus Ember Moon. This was a solid match. Ember Moon won via DQ because Alexa Bliss was hidden by eclipse by Ember Moon, and then Alicia Fox came in and made the save. But actually, she didn't make the save completely because she missed completely, and Alexa Bliss had to kick out of that eclipse. Alicia Fox is bad, man, and they're considering her as a legend. She's just here to replace Mickie James, and that's it. And they have to bring the same script they had for Mickie James for Alicia Fox because they're too lazy to have another script for Alicia Fox, and they can say that Alicia Fox is just a dumb bitch. I mean, she is nowhere near a legend status, no matter what, how many years she has spent in WWE. So yeah, it was solid stuff. And then Ronda Rousey came out and just threw Alicia Fox here and there with those judo throws. And next up we got ourselves a backstage segment where Ziggler and Drew McIntyre came to Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin, and Kurt and Baron Corbin were arguing as usual. And then Ziggler and McIntyre says that they want to have a conversation with Seth Rollins here tonight, but Kurt Angle said that Rollins isn't here yet and he will come here tonight. So yeah, next up we got ourselves a match between Constable Corbin and Tyler Breeze. This match went for 4 minutes and it was nothing. It was just a squash match with Tyler Breeze gaining some momentum, but it was still nothing. If it was this match's purpose was to make Corbin look like a legit threat for Balor's demon gimmick, it didn't do its job because I don't think Corbin is a good contender for Balor to have his demon gimmick. So it was just a stuff. And then next up we got ourselves Braun Strowman and Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal and Kevin Owens. This was a solid match. This was a pretty good match. This was a pretty good tag match, and Braun was very over with the crowd. Braun was hot with the crowd, and when he made the hot tag with Balor, he just ran wild on Sunil Singh and speared him through Kevin Owens, and he punished Owens for what he did to him in the past few weeks, and he also beat Jinder Mahal for his wins over Braun Strowman for the past few weeks. This was okay stuff. This didn't build SummerSlam as a huge thing, but it wasn't bad. It was a good match, and yeah, it slightly built SummerSlam. And then Baron Corbin came out and hit the end of days on Finn Balor and put out Balor. So yeah, I think Demon Gimmick will be at SummerSlam, and yeah, Corbin will lose definitely. And then we got ourselves a backstage segment where Kurt tries to call Stephanie, but she didn't answer. And then Drew and Dolph come in, and Dolph wants to look at his contract. And then next up we got ourselves a jobber named Ricky Roberts in the ring, and he says that he is a big fan of Elias and he is here to sing and stuff. And then Elias comes out and he says that he needs to buy the Elias merchandise on WWE shop. And then Bobby Lashley comes out and he says that you have to change your gimmick, kid, because there aren't any person who can sing in this arena. And then it was boring stuff. The Ricky Roberts hit the guitar shot on Bobby Lashley's back, but Bobby Lashley hits a huge looking spine buster on him and kills him. This was a bad segment. The person who has booked this segment should feel ashamed of it. Oh my god, this was bad. Bobby Lashley should be booked as a monster, not a goofball. And it was bad segment. Uh, this was bullshit. I didn't like it. It was bad. Next up, we got ourselves Beast Team backstage, and Bo Dallas was doing the math for their match against Revival and the Deleter of Worlds, but Axel fires him up. And next up, we got ourselves a triple threat match for the Tag Team Championship between the B Team versus the Revival versus the Deleter of Worlds. It was a fine match. It was a pretty good match, with Revival hitting a heart attack on Matt Hardy in the tribute of Jim Neidhart. It was a great match. I mean, not great match, it was a pretty good match, with the B team winning when the Revival hit the Shatter Machine on Bray Wyatt, and B team just stole the pin. Axel just stole the pin. It was good stuff. It was not like B team just won by luck. It was Axel having some plans, and he was winning, and was some heel tactics. And now they're gonna face Revival at SummerSlam on the pre-show for the Raw Tag Team Championships. And also we got ourselves a cruiserweight match fixed for the pre-show at SummerSlam, and a mixed tag match between Rusev and Lana versus Almas and Zelina Vega at SummerSlam. So next up we got ourselves the Big Dog coming out and cutting the same promo as usual, that he is sick and tired of Brock, and Brock is a part-timer and he's a full-timer, and he's gonna make this place great again and all that shit. Then Paul Heyman comes out and he tries to kiss Reigns' ass, and he tries to join Reigns and offer him to become the Paul Heyman guy, and Paul Heyman to be his advocate, but Reigns refuses and says that Paul Heyman is a drowning ship, and now he wants Reigns to join him to save his career, but he's not gonna fall in this trap and all that shit, and Reigns just refuses that, and Paul Heyman says that his father and his uncle Afa told him some stuff, and then he says something in the Samoan language, and he shows Roman Reigns some type of contract or something, and then he hits the pepper spray on Reigns, and then Brock Lesnar comes out and he beats up Reigns, and he hits the F5 on Reigns. It was good stuff. Paul Heyman's promo was great last week, and this stuff was pretty good, but it killed the intrigue of SummerSlam. Now Paul Heyman is siding with Brock Lesnar. It killed the intrigue, and I think they shouldn't have done this segment right now, but there's always a but. Paul Heyman said that you have to answer about that contract stuff what he gave Roman Reigns on Sunday, not now. So we don't know if Paul Heyman will side with Brock Lesnar or not. There's still some hope that Paul Heyman can side with Roman Reigns. So yeah, let's see. So next up we got ourselves the Authors of Pain and Mojo Rawley versus Bobby Roode and Titus Worldwide. It was just a 2 minute 41 seconds match where Bobby Roode hit the glorious DDT on an Author of Pain for the win. It was just a squash. It was just bad stuff. It was a filler stuff. The next up we got ourselves Jim the Anvil Neidhart's tribute, and it was not a 10 bell tribute. It was just a video package. And next up we got ourselves Sasha Banks versus Ruby Riott with Bayley and Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan on the ring side. This was an okay match, but there were too many shenanigans on the outside, so we couldn't focus on the match. Ruby Riott win with a cradle on Sasha Banks because of the shenanigans and stuff. I want a match between Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks, a 20-minute match without any interference. That will be one heck of a match. So next up we got ourselves the contract signing for Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. Kurt Angle comes out and he says that Reigns will compete at SummerSlam, and he hopes that Reigns kicks Brock's ass at SummerSlam. And then Ziggler and McIntyre come out and they say stuff that they respect Rollins, but Rollins walked out because the beating they gave him on last week and stuff. Then Rollins comes out and he says that he was looking at the travel issues, but the travel issues weren't his. It was someone else. that you have a what the fuck Scottish psychopath in your corner, then I have a lunatic in my corner too. And then Dean Ambrose music hits. He comes out looking jacked. He was really looking jacked. His shoulders were kind of broad and stuff, and he was wearing a tank top with thin strips. Maybe that's why he was looking that much jacked. But he was really jacked than before, and he wasn't looking like a druggy homie. He was looking like a real wrestler, and he was looking jacked. And then he comes out, and they both come in the ring, and there was a big brawl with Ambrose throwing Ziggler out of the ring, and Drew McIntyre started to beat Rollins. But then Ambrose comes out, and then Rollins hit a super kick on Drew McIntyre, and Ambrose hit a dirty deeds. Personally, I don't like Dean Ambrose. I never liked him, and I still don't like him because he's a bad wrestler. He botches moves, and he can hit. He can't even hit his strikes. His strike game is very bad, and he can't even hit one punch correctly. Seriously, if I'm standing in a booth and he is in that booth too, and he will hit me 50 strikes, and only one or two will strike me. He is that bad. But yeah, and he botched the throwing Ziggler out of the ring too. He botched the dirty deeds too. So we don't know. But yeah, he came back. I'm happy for him that he's back. And he has got a heel look to himself. He's looking jagged. He's grown a beard. He has cut his hair. And he is looking like a heel. And he doesn't give a shit. When he comes out, he wasn't even looking at Rollins and all that stuff. He was just coming out, and he only cared about himself. But at last they fist bumped. So alright, but he looked like he didn't care. And there was a dark match afterwards with Finn Balor and Braun Strowman, and Rollins and Ambrose versus Ziggler, McIntyre, Corbin and Owens. It was a dark match. Personally, it would have been far better if he made that it's SummerSlam. But yeah, maybe it was just foreshadowing of a heel turn that will come at SummerSlam. So yeah, this was this week's Raw. It was an okay show. I will give it a 5.5 out of 10. It had a pretty good segment between Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, a Dean Ambrose return, and Ronda Rousey, but there was too much filler stuff. I don't like filler stuff. So yeah, this was this week's Raw. It was good, and it had made me look for SummerSlam for two matches: Roman versus Brock and Rollins versus Ziggler. I hope there aren't too many shenanigans in the match between Rollins and Ziggler. There is definitely a heel turn coming, and if there is a heel turn for Ambrose, I don't think Roman will turn heel. I hope Roman turns heel and Ambrose can turn heel later. I don't give a shit about Ambrose, but I give a shit about Roman. I like Roman more than Ambrose, and want Roman to turn heel on Brock. So yeah, this was my review this week, and guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you guys, and have a nice day.